Today I am going to tell you the 5 ways at Gilchrist & Co. that we created a network to change the world. I don't know if you remember back 40 years. Many of you probably aren't old enough to remember back 40 years. But in summertimes 40 years ago, it never rained. Summertimes 40 years ago, and I remember them well, were hot, they were sunny, they were splendid, they were marvellous. 40 years ago in the summertime, I was 10. And I had friends when I was 10. I had friends that we went and had adventures with. We built go-karts. This was before mobile phones. This was before the internet. This was before online games. We built tree huts. We went fishing. We wrestled. We wore welly boots all day long. But what we did as friends and 10-year-olds was we went out all day and we occupied ourselves and worked together as a team. But we worked together not because we were being paid or because somebody told us or because we knew the rules. It was a natural thing that we wanted to do. We woke up in the mornings wanting to work with each other, wanting to be with each other, wanting to do stuff because we liked each other, we respected each other, we enjoyed each other's company. So when I think about the 5 things that we do at Gilchrist & Co. that change the world, what I'm thinking about is how do we bring together people so that they can make the world better in a way that they feel like when I was a 10-year-old child. How do you bring that passion? How do you bring that enthusiasm? How do you bring to the table a situation where people want to be there, not because they have to be there, not because they're being paid to be there, but because they genuinely want to be there? I want to change the world. I want to change the world, but I know I can't do it by myself. Or if I can, I'm not going to be as effective by myself. So I need a community. I need a network. I need friends. I need you. Yeah. And the 5 things we do with the people that I need are, first of the 5 things, start something. Start a group, a club, an open coffee, a pop-up co-working day, a Belfast BarCamp 2024. Doesn't matter what you start, but be brave. Sorry. Be brave enough to stick your neck out and to ask other people to join you in that activity, whatever it may be. It may not work. It may be a complete train wreck. But have the courage to try. Because if you try, you'll bring people together. One of the things we tried like 10 or 15 years ago was the Social Media Association for Business. I didn't know anything about social media apart from the fact that I used it. We used Facebook. And I went onto my Facebook account, and at the time I had about, 1,500 friends on there. And I put on a post and I said, I would like to meet other businesses that use social media. How about we meet in the University of Ulster on Tuesday, hit send, got up the next day, and 70 people had replied. 70 people. I hadn't even booked University of Ulster. Just by happenstance, there was a lady called Fiona who worked in the marketing department, and they were launching a new course, a postgraduate diploma in social media, blah, 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 whatever it was. And when I rang the university to say, I've invited 70 people down and I haven't booked a room, they just happened to put me through to the marketing department while she was there, and happenstance and good luck meant that she had the resources to provide me with the boardroom at the University of Ulster for the very first event of the Social Media Association for Business. And because I had that fantastic resource, I was able to bring down other people from Concentrics and from other marketing agencies effectively, and we knocked it out of the park. It was, after this, one of the best evenings I have had out networking. That led on to a steering committee being formed. It led on to 15 events being held at different locations across Northern Ireland, but mainly in Northern Ireland, in the University of Ulster. We had the full use of the Connor Lecture Hall once a month, every month, for free. We had sponsors lining up to support us. Speakers from Facebook, from Tourism Ireland, from the university. Why? Why would they do that? What were we offering that other people weren't offering at the time? It was that we had put our necks out. We had stood up and said we're going to start something. And you're going, okay, Martin, you started something, aren't you? Some pup. You'll be some pup when your tail grows, as they say. What do you get out of it? Well, I never stood on the stage. I was frightened to stand on the stage. I never gave out a business card. I never mentioned Gilchrist and Co. Chartered Accountants. But despite that, what happened was all those people that turned up to the Social Media Association for Business and seen these speakers from Facebook and Concentrics and the University of World, they were going, where's this come from? Why is it happening? And people would find out there was this guy called Martin Gilchrist, some guy sitting in the back with a nylon suit on him and a shiny head and whatever it was. And at the end of each event, there'd be a queue of people wanting to speak to me. People were offering me money, £500 at a time, to come and talk at social media events that I didn't want, didn't need, didn't take. But what it did lead to that was useful from a selfish point of view was we got about £25,000 worth of new client work for Gilchrist & Co. directly from this sort of thing, sitting down, networking, talking to people. Now, these are all successful business people, and you're probably going £25,000. It's nice, but it's not a business. Imagine keeping those clients for another 10 years or another 15 years. Multiply 25,000 by 10. How much is that? How much income is that generated for Gilchrist & Co.? And those clients recommend us to other clients and recommend us into other networks and give us other speaking opportunities. Bish, bash, bosh. Starting something has been a success. But you're not going to start something. And you're not going to start something. And you're not going to start something because it's hard. There's risk. It takes time. It takes emotional energy. You probably will start something. I'm just picking on you because it's easy. But it's a hard thing to do. So if you don't want to start something, the next thing you can do is join something. Find someone that's doing something that you want to happen, and don't just turn up and sit in the seat. Stand up for them. Support them. Tell their story. Share it on social media. Volunteer to do something on their behalf. Like all the volunteers that have turned up today that are speaking at this event, that have helped put the seats out, that have got the mics, that have done all the work. Be one of those people. Because you'll be recognized. People will see you. I'm not the organizer here. I bet one or two of you might have heard my name before I stood up on this stage. Why? Because I'm helping out and I'm putting posts on the social media. You can still get a huge benefit from joining something. I'm going to tell one story about joining something. I was invited to join the board of Down Enterprise Park a number of years ago. And I came and did all the stuff. I organised events. I tried to get in super fast broadband. I shook trees and dances and do all whatever it is you do when you're on the board. And because I was so active, the board elected me to be chairperson. They put me in charge. My wife said, "No, Martin, don't touch it." I went, "I'm touching it." And off I went. And it was a fantastic opportunity. We got to meet the movers and shakers, the politicians, the investors, the small businesses, and I was in the room. People had to listen to my ideas. Now, I'm not selfish. I wasn't just my ideas. I would take the ideas from the other businesses in the park and I would share them and then I would express them. But I got to express them in the way that I wanted to express them, with my personality, with my point of view. How else would I have got that opportunity if I hadn't joined something? So join something. The third of 5 things. It's brilliant telling people how many things there are because you know where you are in a talk. So halfway through. The third of 5 things is find your space. Find a physical location where you can be known, where you turn up, where you show up, where you help out, where you are part of the crowd. I often think of Cheers. I love the theme tune from Cheers. I can't sing the theme tune from Cheers. That's it. But I love the idea of going into an environment where everybody knows your name. Marty! You've arrived. Oh, come on over. Blah, 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 blah. I haven't found that place yet. But I love the idea of it. And there have been places that have been like that. Many years ago, there was a place called Core where I actually met Marty Neal. Obviously, that worked because I'm doing this with Marty Neal today. There's connection that worked. Many years ago, there was a place called Farset Labs, which still exists. And before it even exists, Dr. Andrew Bolster, when he was still a student, came to me and said, I'm starting this thing. I'm trying to pull together a team. Will you come and help me out? I lived in Farset Labs for about the first 2 years of Gilchrist & Co. I made connections. I built a network. We did events. We had a great time. Gilchrist & Co.'s 5th anniversary party was there. We had wine and song. There was ladies, but not in the way with wine, women, and song. Anyway, we had a party. So Farset Labs was a place where I was known, where people could refer me, where I could do the stuff that I needed to do. So find your space. The fourth and penultimate piece of fantastic advice that I'm going to give you is give without expectation of reciprocation. Give without expecting anything back. And be genuine. Be authentic. Be honest when you're doing that. Don't do it because you really do want something back, but you're letting on you don't want something back. Because we all have that radar, sales radar. We know when somebody's selling us something, when they're not being authentic, when they're trying to take advantage of us. Don't do that. But do go out into the world and offer to be generous, offer to help, stand up and do all that good stuff. Because it will come back. And I guarantee you, and I'll sign the guarantee if you want me to, that it will come back tenfold. And I see people in the room today that are those type of people, that take time and make the energy and stand up and do stuff without any expectation of reciprocation. And I admire those people and I respect those people and I appreciate those people. And when they ask me to help, I will be at the front of the queue and standing up to do that, because that's how that works. That's how business works. That's how relationship works. That's how networks and communities are built. Give without expectation of reciprocation. The final thing that I would suggest to build a network that will change the world is have a party. Have a party. Now, when I say have a party, I don't mean the party that you have with your friends where you're drinking and smoking and dancing and having fun. What I mean by have a party is, what I really mean is bring together people, but not just any people. Bring together special people. Special people. And what I mean by special people, we all know the special people in our lives. The people that when you see them walking down the street, you'll cross the road to talk to them because you love talking to them. The people, if they walked in here today, your heart would rise because you're like, Sean and JP are here today. Marty Neal is here today. Ruth is here today. People that you're just delighted. Susan's here today. People that you're delighted to see because they're good people. People that motivate you. People that inspire you. People that engage you. People that make you a better person. And all you have to do is bring them together. Put them in a room and give them an opportunity to connect. Because when you take people like that, when you give them that opportunity, genuinely, they will change the world. So my final thought, I'm going to ask for something. I should have had a hat. I thought, no, but I'm not going to ask for money. I'm going to ask you to do something for me, because today, now, this moment in time, I would love it if you were able to think back and say, that was a moment that changed my world. I would love it if you left this talk today and you thought, I am going to take those steps. I am going to build a network and I am going to change the world. Thank you very much. Yes, a question from Ruth.
Happy first day. You talked earlier about train wreck events. That's one of those stories.
Oh, my goodness, that's a very good question. Right. Okay. The honest answer to that question is I have never had a proper train wreck event, and I've never seen a proper train wreck event. Well, actually, there is one. No, no. I'm going to tell this story. It's a little bit unfair, so I'm not going to mention names or places or anything like that because this was a proper train wreck. So I was sitting in the audience of a venue in Belfast, and there was about 200 of the great and the good sitting in the audience, and there was a guy sitting right at the front, and he was sitting like this, and he was all tense, and he's a big guy, and he just looked out of place with this audience. And on the panel, there were bankers and, people in positions of power and influence. And the compere on the day was saying, this is an opportunity to ask the most difficult questions. When you ever get an opportunity to ask these questions to these people, so 200 people in the audience, anybody could ask a question. I was sitting primed to ask the first question. This guy beat me to it. And this guy had an issue with the banks. And what happened was the poor person with the mic came down and gave it to him. He held it like this. And he took it. And he said, such and such a bank has ruined my business. I'd see him up on the stage. I know you, and you're responsible. And off he went. And my person came back, and he would give the mic back. And it was the compere. You could see the color went from their face, and it was turning into a complete train wreck. Fortunately, that day on the panel, there was an entrepreneur guy, and this guy exuded confidence, and he had charisma, and he was a hero for everybody else who was on the stage that day, because what he did was he came down and he sat on the edge of the stage, and he said to the guy, look, I appreciate, with the mic, he said, the whole audience heard this, I appreciate you have a problem, and I want to help you, but there's 200 people in the room here, and they haven't come about this. They're here for another reason. That's not really for them. If you come out with me now, I will assure you that I will speak to the people that need to be spoken to satisfy whatever your requirement was. And he got the guy, and he walked him out, and there was a round of applause. And I think it was a genuine round of applause, not just from relief and that this guy did this thing, because there was genuine humanity in what the guy did and how he saved the situation. That was a train wreck situation that has always burned in mind. So, great, Chris. JP.
JB, we're back to work alongside Sean here, unfortunately. I've been to many of your events, I'm lucky to say.
Oh, thank you.
How do you do it?
I think you know, JP, how I do it. And the simple fact is, I love it. I'm doing something that I have a passion for. I'm doing something that genuinely leaves me buzzing. I get some, people are introverts and extroverts. I'm not sure what I am, but what I do find is when I come to a room like this, I'm inspired. I'm inspired that people are willing to take time out of their day and take a punt that by coming down here that they're going to make a connection or have a conversation or do something that's going to improve their situation or improve the situation for someone else. There's nobody here today selling me anything. Nobody's coming up with, well, I've got this product I want. They're here because they genuinely want to either meet me or other people in the room. And it lifts me. If you have a situation that energizes you, that motivates you, that you're engaged by, that you're passionate about, everything else just happens around that. And what you find is, if it's a passion and you allow yourself to be carried along with your passion, opportunities open up. So, JP, as you say, you've been along to a number of my events, but you've probably been along to a lot of events that I've also been at. And that's what it boils down to. It's what you want. If you open yourself to your passions and your motivations and the things that inspire you, they tend to happen. It's not necessarily, I'm not trawling through social media going, what event am I going to victimize now? Who am I going to jump all over? It's literally people will come to me and say, look, Martin, I seen you at this, would you mind doing that? And I think that's what happened with this. Marty Neil, when he was having this idea, came to me and he said, look, I'm thinking about doing this, what do you think? And I went, yes, please, let's do it. And all of a sudden, here we are. Thank you, JP.
you only do business with people you like?
No. You can't only do business with people you like. And generally you like when you start, and maybe halfway into the conversation you find out you don't. No, I think you have to take people as you find them and work with the people that you got, because we're all different. The thing is flexibility in business. You're going to come across people and there's going to be difference of opinion. But if you genuinely want to help them, if you genuinely want to find a solution, you either will or you won't. But what we try to do is work towards a solution that makes sense for everybody, because at the end of the day, it makes your life easier. But you can't expect to only work with people you like. They do say, there's a saying, never go into business with your best friends. There's a reason for that. It's not always true, but business can be a tough environment, so you can't just work with people that you like. And that's my final thought for today. Thank you very much.